Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Colin, also known as the Battle Room, also known as the coolest Pokemon player in the world, also known as the inventor of Defiant Thundurs. You name it, I'm probably it. So today we're going to be breaking down this sick, sexy team I made. I think this team is pretty good. I spent a week using it, and I was a huge fan of some of the synergies and some of the ideas on the team. You may not necessarily love the six, but the ideas that are found within the team are really good, and I think you can use them and make them really work on other teams. So let's get right into it. So the six themselves are Thundurus, Landorus, Tapu Fini, Entei, Metagross, and Porygon 2. The team was built around Defiant Thundurs. Thundurus is the king. He's the star of the team, the superstar, the MVP. Beautiful Pokemon. So we'll start with the king himself. So Thundurus himself, not too crazy of a moveset or EV spread, but I decided to go with Life Orb. I wanted to get as much damage as possible with Defiant. When one of your stats is lowered, your attack is boosted by 2. When I lead Thundurus into Intimidate, he will get +1 attack because I'll still get the -1, but then I'll get 2 stages. So it's a really good ability, especially with the prevalence of our good friend Landorus Therian and also Incineroar. So it's a great ability to also deters Icy Winds. It's a really, really good ability, and I think it's the reason why Thundurus is so good now. Through the access of the ability patch, it allows him to get his hidden ability, which he never had access to since 2013. So he's finally released from his shackles, ready to tear up the format. Really fun mon. But yeah, so that's the why I think Thundurus is so good and the big change to Thundurus going into the Ground Tundra. So the moveset is pretty simple. We've got Wild Charge for the stab. There's not really a better physical electric move. That's all we got to work with. It kind of sucks. The recoil sucks. I don't know why it's so bad compared to Thunderbolt. I really don't get it, but it is. But the recoil sucks, but overall it's really our only option. Superpower. This is to hit stuff like Tyranitar, Porygon, Incineroar in a super effective fashion. It also allows you to get attack boost with Max Snuggle, which is really, really amazing. It's so fun. It lets Thunder snowball even harder. It's just crazy. Fly is unfortunately, another really awful move, but it's our only physical flying move, and it allows us to get Airstream boost. This is why Thundurus is so good. You're just able to Airstream all your partners, just pop off, go crazy. Oh man. It's such a good move for Thundurus. Just having access to a physical flying move. It sucks outside of max, but when you're maxing, you're flying, you're doing damage. Boom, eat it. I decided for U-turn. Throughout this video, I'm going to give suggestions to improve the team because I don't think it's perfect. It is really fun, but I think Thundurus in general doesn't need U-turn, and I think actually running Protect is better here. I would definitely suggest Protect. I did find myself pressing Max Flutterby more than I expected, but I think Protect is better. For the EV spread, boom, max attack, max speed. It's all you need, baby. Max attack, max speed. I'm going fast, I'm doing damage. I'm taking names. That's all you need. So let's go into Landorus. I wanted to use Landorus as well right away because Landorus is the king. I wanted to see how strong our king was, if he had fallen a little bit, if he was good. Landorus did not disappoint. Definitely not as strong as past years, but still really, really strong Pokemon. The reason I went for Choice Scarf this time was because I wanted to try U-turning next to Thundurus. I wanted Landorus to go first, so I'd be able to U-turn into something like Entei, Metagross, Fini, and then be able to give them the boosts. But I do think an option you could do is run Assault Vest. Assault Vest seems really good. It allows you to max Knuckle next to Landorus, so you're able to get the boost immediately. And I think Landorus definitely benefits from the boost as well and can set up sweeps of its own. So I think max Knuckle EQ is absolutely insane. And I think maybe Assault Vest is a little better, but I didn't mind Choice Scarf because I was able to do stuff like U-turn into my Fini or Metagross and get the boost on them when I found that more beneficial. But the moveset is really simple. Earthquake, big earthquake damage. Rock Slide to flinch. U-turn because I wanted to be able to spam Intimidate more often because Scarf Landorus is just so good at Intimidate spam. That's its best trait. So U-turn and then Superpower because I wanted coverage, and Fly doesn't really work on Landorus because I'm never going to max it next to Thundurus. The EV spread is max. I wanted to outspeed Dragapult with my Choice Scarf, so I needed to actually be max speed, and then I put the rest into attack. Overall, I think these two are a really insane combo. This is one of the things I think you should take away is Thundurus, Landorus, really good combo. Think about it for your next team. Probably Assault Vest Landorus and probably Protect Thundurus. But I think they're really, really fun to play with. Absolutely insane combo. They do tons of damage. They give tons to your team. They give you an Airstream user. They give you 2 flying types. They give you good tools. They give you Intimidate. So I think overall, these Pokemon are absolutely insane to be added to your next team. And I think they just really can close teams together really well. After adding Thundurus and Landorus, I really wanted a way to change the terrain. I think Earthquake is really important for Landorus, so I wanted to be able to stop Tapu Bulu. I think this is something that you don't necessarily need to account for, but early in the format, I was really worried about Bulu, and Rillaboom, more importantly. I wanted to be able to stop grassy terrain. So I was like, I need Fini. Water typing looks great. Fini's always been a good Pokemon. Let's try out Fini. So I added Tapu Fini. Fini, I went with a Citrus Berry set. I think Citrus Berry is great. It gives it a little bit of longevity. Sometimes you can navigate around Figgy Berry or Wiki Berry, whatever the big berry you're using. So I thought Citrus Berry would be good. It gives it a lot of longevity, and it just makes it easier to play. Misty Surge, of course, is the ability to get rid of those pesky terrains that aren't mine. And for the moveset, Muddy Water, Stab Water move. It's a spread move. It's really good. I also went for Moonblast because obviously Stab, Moonblast. Calm Mind is a setting up move. I thought, you know, I'll be airstreaming a lot. Why not be able to boost my resistances and my damage? So I thought like there'd be a lot of scenarios where I could airstream and Calm Mind on the same turn and be able to take a Moonblast from an enemy Fini really well, or take a you know, a Thunderbolt from a Porygon 2 or something, you know? So I thought Calm Mind would be great. Did not disappoint. Absolutely insane. And then Protect. You need Protect. I didn't have any Protect so far on the team, so Protect, obviously. You could run something else, but I think Protect's really good. For the EV spread, I decided to outspeed Garchomp and friends at +1 speed from Airstream. I thought that was a good enough benchmark to hit. I would outspeed stuff like Entei, Landorus, Arcanine. You name it, I'd probably outspeed it outside of crazy things like Cinderace or Dragapult, and like stuff like Whimsicott even, or Talonflame. So I thought this speed was good enough to hit. It would give me much needed speed while also maintaining a lot of the bulk that I wanted out of Fini. Fini was going to be a pivot. It was going to be important that I switch it in and out. So I thought the speed was good. I wanted to obviously have max HP, and then I wanted to do a lot of damage because I'm going to be setting up airstreams for it. It's going to be one of my sweepers. Like, I needed to do some work. So I decided, hey, let's put the rest in special attack. This Fini did not disappoint. I think the spread could be optimized a little bit. You could probably get some more bulk in there, maybe a little more speed. But overall, this Fini was really good for me, and it fits this style of team. I think maybe some Finis don't need this kind of speed, or maybe they need more bulk. But this Fini worked for me. No complaints. In the future, I'd probably add a little bit more bulk, though. It did its job, but I think maybe it could be a little bit bulkier and capitalize on Fini's natural strengths. Confident in my team, but I needed to close it out with something that could really tie the team together. So the next two slots kind of came in at the same time. Entei and Metagross. I think Entei is so sick, and I'm really excited it finally got some love. Inner Focus is a great ability. If you don't know what it does, it makes you immune to flinching and Intimidate, which is a big deal for a physical fire type like Entei. So with the Inner Focus buff, I set out to use Entei, and I also wanted to use my boy Metagross. Metagross is one of my favorite Steel types. I'm so happy I get to use this guy again. So I wanted to use Entei Metagross because of the Bulldoze plus Weakness Policy combo. That was the intent behind the set, and I'll break it down in each of them. Entei first. So Entei, again, this is Entei. He's chilling. We've got Figgy Berry because I wanted to be able to get as much HP as possible. It works wonders for Entei. Really good item. Inner Focus, like I mentioned earlier, great new ability for Entei. And then for the moveset, I went with Sacred Fire because it's, you know, pretty god tier move. It's only Entei and Ho-Oh get it. You have a 50% chance to burn. It's a really good move, honestly. A really fun move. It does have a little bit anti-synergy with Fini and Misty Surge. So I do think Entei Fini is a little clunky at times, but I do enjoy Entei nonetheless. That's another thing I try to avoid in the future, is not pair Entei and Fini. While they work really well together, they also are a little clunky because it's ruining one of the best parts of Entei, which is Sacred Fire. So I went with Bulldoze because Bulldoze is so sick here. So what I can do is I have two U-turn Pokemon, so I'm able to potentially just go lead Entei plus either of the genies, press U-turn, and Bulldoze on the same turn to proc my weakness policy on Metagross, which is pretty nuts. It also allows me to Bulldoze next to stuff like Landorus or Thundurus and slow them down even further. Stuff like Regieleki or Pheromosa, I'm able to slow them down further so that Airstream plus Bulldoze, it puts me insanely ahead of them, and I don't even have to worry about their speeds. The next move's Helping Hand. I thought Helping Hand plus Defiant Thundurs was really sick. The calcs were awesome. It's just really nuts. Like, Thundurus gets out of control even faster, and even Dynamax Pokemon can't live some of the hits. So I thought, hey, that's a really cool feature that he got. Like, he got Helping Hand in Crown Tundra. It's like, why not use it, you know? Protect is quite obvious. Like, it's Protect. It's really good. I wanted it here. It's a great move. Yeah, I don't know. I don't need to explain it. The EV spread here wasn't hard to make. I knew what I wanted it to do, and so it just was a matter of making it. I went with max speed because it's really important with base 100 to outspeed all the Pokemon such as Landorus, speed tie with stuff like Charizard. It's really important to be that speed so you can potentially burn them with Sacred Fire. So I had to have max speed. For the HP and defense, I decided to go with 100 HP EVs and 12 defense. I wanted to be able to live Adamant, Landorus, Earthquakes. You're probably asking, bro, why do you want to live Adamant, Landorus, Earthquakes? Don't you outspeed and burn them with Sacred Fire? And I'm like, yes. Except for the fact that these guys sometimes run Scarf. And you're like, oh, that makes total sense. So I decided to live Earthquake from Landorus. Even if they're Scarf, I'll still live, proc my berry, get a bunch of HP back, and in a best of one scenario like I was playing on Battle Spot, it is useful to live that Earthquake since, you know, I might be playing against Scarf Lando, and at least I don't lose a whole Pokemon because they Earthquake me turn 1. It also allows me to potentially fish for a burn a second time, which is kind of nice. So I'll live the first Earthquake and then hit them with the burn, you know? It works. So that's what the HP and defense AVs do. I put 4 in special defense for good luck, and I dumped the rest in attack. I wanted to still do pretty big damage. The EV spread is pretty simple, but really, really effective. So let's go into Metagross. So my boy Metagross, oh my god. This is one of my favorite Pokemon to use. I really don't even like Metagross that much, but good lord, he feels so good to use in competitive Pokemon. So Metagross, he ended up becoming one of the MVPs of the team. He's really good with Entei. Metagross is really good with Entei, really good with Fini. A lot of natural synergy there. He benefits from potential airstreams from Thundurus and Intimidate from Landorus. Overall, fits the team really, really well. So for Metagross, he was a must-add here. He also procs with Bulldoze really, really well. Man, this is looking good, right? Metagross is looking good here. So I decided for the weakness policy set to abuse Bulldoze and potentially my own Earthquake if I'm forced to do that. But I went with weakness policy. Also Clear Body, obviously the best ability, come on. For the moveset, I went with Iron Head, Ice Punch, Stomping Tantrum, and Protect. Iron Head for the natural Steel Spike and the steel damage that Metagross provides. Ice Punch to kill Landorus, I hate that guy. And Stomping Tantrum for the Max Quake. Stomping Tantrum is really, really important, I think. Ice Punch is obvious to kill Landorus. Iron Head, obvious, it's a Steel Stab. But Stomping Tantrum is really, really important. Max Quake boosts are like game-changing for Metagross. It ends up setting up his partners as well really, really well. Like putting Max Quake on Porygon or Fini is game-winning. So I ended up just going with Stomping Tantrum moves. I don't look back. It's so good. You could run Earthquake in this scenario, but good lord, Stomping Tantrum, Max Quake is just good. Protect for obvious reasons. It's one of my sweepers. Need to keep that guy safe. The EV spread, again, very simple. I decided to outspeed Landorus at +1 speed from an Airstream. And then I decided to put the rest in HP, and then 4 in each defense and the rest in attack. So it's a pretty simple spread, much like Entei, but it does what I needed to do. It's so hard to deal with Metagross, honestly, just because of the threat of weakness policy alone. People will never want to proc its weakness policy, so then he ends up just racking up defense boost after defense boost, maybe even a special defense boost. And you're sitting there like, how do I kill this thing? Even when it's a small baby max, like no more max, it's still a problem because of all the defense boost it acquired during the max. So I think Metagross is truly insane. It fit this team perfectly. Really good switch in as well. Really good max. Even pretty good out of max when it was paired with Thundurus. I think it's a great mon, and you should definitely consider using Metagross on your team in the future. I was struggling with Dragapult, so I originally had Moltres in the slot, but I decided to change to Porygon 2 because it added a much needed Trick Room mode. I had Max Airstream with Thundurus, but I wanted Trick Room as well. It's a great move, one of my favorites, and it fits really well with Metagross and Fini. So Trick Room was pretty good here. So for the moveset, for the item, I went with Eviolite. For the ability, download. Those are pretty obvious, really good. For the moveset, I went with Ice Beam, Tri Attack, Recover, and Trick Room. I think Thunderbolt might be better than Tri Attack, but I was testing Tri Attack out. You could also run Foul Play, but I think Ice Beam is necessary. Tri Attack was okay. I think Thunderbolt is really good versus Fini as well, which is really important. I would probably make the change to Thunderbolt. Recover, so you never die, especially with boost from Metagross. It gets out of control. And then Trick Room, because you want to have speed control. For the EV spread, I decided to make it live a physical Landorus's superpower at +1. You're like, whoa, that's kind of a lot, right? I decided for that calc because it was living everything else, and I thought, hey, this could actually be like a real thing. It could go for a max knuckle boost, and then on the next turn it could try to superpower me after a turn of max. It was living everything else anyways, so I was like, hey, let's go for this one. I put the rest in special defense, a little bit of attack for speed, just in case I wanted to speed creep other Porygons, and then max HP. Overall, I'm a huge fan of this team. It was a really good early meta learning tool for me. Honestly, it was really fun to use as well. Thundurus Landorus was really, really good combo. Fini, Meta, Entei, really strong as well. You could definitely put Ints in here. Like the core of Water, Steel, Fire was absolutely ridiculous. It gave me so many defensive options with Fini Metagross. Porygon 2 was okay. He was actually pretty nuts when he decided to pop off. The Rental team will be right there. You can totally use this team on Battle Spot. It's super fun to use. I definitely recommend it. It's a great way to learn Series 7 and to just have fun with it. I tested this team pretty extensively on stream, so you can check out the VODs if you want to learn how to use it. But overall, this team's been really, really nice. I definitely recommend it. I think it's a really good early meta tool. This team is a really good learning tool. It gives you a lot of options and it lets you really explore the early format. I definitely recommend it. Again, the code's right there. I hope you guys enjoyed me breaking down this team. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. I think it's pretty fun if you decide to use the rental code or the paste, both of which are below and on the screen. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day.